All righty, welcome back for another episode of Two Plane Sports. We're here to talk about a variety of things. A little bit about TV, a new TV deal, some transfer visits that are happening this weekend, and an update on a high school recruit target for the Sooners. So, kind of a hodgepodge of things to talk about today, but some definitely some big stuff. Before we get into it, we just want to say we really appreciate it. We've got a goal of 10,000 subscribers by the end of this year. We're a little over 4,000. If you've been coming back and continuing to watch, hit the subscribe button. It's free. It helps us out a lot. Turn the notification bell so you never miss an episode when we release it. We generally are good about releasing it, 9:30 Monday, Wednesday, Friday in the mornings. Sometimes we mess up and it doesn't come out on time, or we put it out on a different day. So turn the notification bell so you stay up to date. Like the video, comment on the video, let us know what you think on everything, and follow us on social media. Like us on Facebook, find us on Apple and Spotify, and everything's linked in the description below. And remember, if you hit the subscribe button, it helps us. We're going to try to, as we grow, we're going to give away more and more tickets and more stuff, and we're going to be doing that as we get bigger. The more stuff we can give away. So I'm going to lead it off with, I feel like we need to talk about, and Brandon's watching and he's talking to himself, the OU softball game as they're beating Oklahoma State. That's always a good one. Going to win the Big 12 most likely. But the new ESPN Plus deal that OU is landed and locked as of today, as we're recording this, on May 5th. The deal starts August 1st. There's going to be more than 100 live events, OU Sooner live events. They will air the football game that's normally on pay-per-view, which that is the thing I am most excited about. I mean, rather than paying whatever it was, like $60, now you can just pay like $6 a month, or it's free with Hulu Live TV. That's an awesome deal. Spring football game, for everyone that isn't, locally around here that can make it to the game, you can actually watch it, not have to pay the pay-per-view or anything like that. 25 plus basketball games, men's and women's. You're going to be able to watch a lot more Sooner basketball rather than on Bally Sports. All the Olympic sports, softball, gymnastics, anything and everything that you can think of Sooner related. We're going to be able to watch as of August 1st. And this deal starts basically now, and it'll run until OU goes to the SEC. Jose, what do you think? What's your initial takeaway? I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's a big deal. What do you think?
I'm a big fan, especially since out of the three of us, I'm the only one not in Oklahoma. It's easier to watch everything. And you didn't mention it, but I was reading up on the deal, and they're also going to put up some like old games. I'm not sure if it's specifically like football games or what old material is going to be there, but it says that SoonerVision has stuff from like the 1940s. So I'm going to expect that they're going to have like hundreds or probably thousands of hours of just like things that probably like big games from the past, bowl games, big basketball games. We can all relive the Buddy Hield beating Texas at home. That was a pretty fun game. So yeah, I'm excited to just watch and get to relive some of those moments from when we were in school and from before then. Ultimately, it just makes access easier. And I think what may have helped propel this deal to come so quick, because it seems like it could have been something for when Oklahoma made it to the SEC, is the spring game. Because I'm reading read the article from ESPN, and they mentioned like how big the fan base is. Obviously, they want to, be as nice as possible about the university when they talk about a new deal, but they mentioned like how big the fan base is and how supportive it is, how crazy the fan base is compared to others. So the spring game had to have some sort of effect, maybe small, but like the fact that it was 75,000 people in a stadium for a spring game, like that's kind of a big deal when you're looking at it from the perspective of like ESPN or any media platform, because if you have that many people packing a stadium for a game that really doesn't matter at the end of the day, imagine how many people are going to be watching on their TV not in Oklahoma.
Yeah. Jose, whenever we worked at SoonerVision, did you never get to go back to the vault? and kind of see all the old footage and stuff we had? I remember
I did not.
when I was there in the summer one time, I guess, which, you know, the summertime's kind of slower at SoonerVision. One of the older guys took me back and we pulled out a bunch of game tape from like the 40s, 50s. It was neat. And I think it's going to be cool for everybody to be able to see those. A lot of the old stuff, even older than that's in black and white. It's cool to see just how far the campus has come just in general with some of the old tape and stuff they have. So hopefully they bust out some of the really, really, really old stuff, like the stuff from the 30s. I think it'll be neat for everybody to see. I'm a huge fan of the ESPN Plus deal. I'm getting all of these sports just as easy access for us. It eradicates any excuse that Sooner fans may have had in the past to not watch some of these other sports. We've got the best gymnastics team in the country every single year, both men and women's, it seems like. So now we get to watch that. You know, we can watch women's basketball every game. We can watch. You guys know I'm a huge wrestling fan. I'm excited to be able to tune into every duel now. I hope they carry some of the tournaments too. I don't know how that's going to work because wrestling's it's a different sport like that. So hopefully they carry both the tournaments and the duels. I'll be watching as much as I can. It's a huge deal. It gets exposure for everybody, for all of our sports, which is always fun. And as Brun mentioned, it is nice to not to pay $70 or $60 to watch us beat up on Popcorn State Institute of Technology. Now we can just watch it on ESPN Plus.
Yeah, and I think I have a couple takeaways from this. Is one, I think OU football is going to be able to recruit at a high level no matter what, just because of the brand and, you know, it's a blue blood. But I think with this being able to, you know, the accessibility is so much easier. I mean, think about it. I mean, it's hard to watch OU golf. It's hard to watch men's and women's gymnastics right now, or, you know, it's a little more difficult. This will be easy. I mean, it's $6.99 a month. If you just want it by yourself, or if you have Hulu Live TV, it's free, or you can even bundle with Disney Plus and all that other stuff for like $14. So it's not overly expensive at all. But what this is doing is it's opening up. I think they had like 21 million subscribers or something as of now. And I'm sure it's going to grow now that OU has the most expansive, you know, deal with a TV program. This is going to allow OU athletics to sell name, image, and likeness. All these athletes are going to be able to know that everyone can watch their games. You know, a lot of the smaller sports that don't draw the huge crowds like football does. I mean, you think about men's and women's gymnastics, that program's already a very high level. But OU baseball is on, you know, it's coming up and it's getting better. If you can sell the idea of like, listen, I mean, now all the Sooner fans can watch you. You know, you might be able to make some more money this way. Your name's going to get bigger. You know, your draft status might go up. So I think that also really helps the smaller sports that are kind of at a mid level to take it to the next step and be able. It's another thing to sell. Obviously, with the, you know, Barry Switzer and his name, image, and likeness deal that he's coming out with, you know, earning more money, your more TV time. It's never a bad deal. My second thought is with the whole deal, I found out that it's going until the SEC because I was watching this OU softball game, and Holly Rose said that this is going to go until you go to the SEC. And I'd imagine this will continue once OU gets to the SEC, but I'm sure it's going to be a different structure, different deal, or whatever, especially when it comes to football. But with OU locking in this deal, it makes me think that OU's in no rush to go to the SEC early. And I think they're settling in, and they're making more money. I don't, you know, they're not going to probably release the numbers for a long time if they ever do, but they're probably making a lot more money now. They're probably going to be able to reinvest in the program over the next couple of years to get every program ready for the SEC. I really don't think OU is going to leave early. Maybe I'm crazy for thinking that with this deal, but that's one of my initial takeaways, that I think OU's in it for the long haul. What do you guys think?
I think you're 100% right. Yeah. I'm pretty sure like there's no Thad Turnips, he had to have something to do with this, because I'm pretty sure when he first got hired, one of his initial remarks was like he was wanting to build this program to be top caliber SEC football program. Facilities, everything that the SEC does, we want to do just as good as a program like Alabama and Georgia or better. And this is step one because, money's kind of required to get to that level. The SEC's got a lot of money, and Oklahoma's going to have to come in with as much of a cushion as possible because I mean, I don't know where we would rank in right now if we would have made the transition, but I wouldn't imagine that it would be up there with the Alabamas and Georgias or even Tennessee. As much as they suck, they do have a lot of money. So this is definitely an indicator of not having no rush. And like you said, it's just going to put more money in the program's pocket, giving the students more opportunity, not just in football, but in other sports. So, I mean, it's gonna be a while before we make to the SEC, but I don't think that's such a bad thing. I mean, 2025 really isn't that far away. More time for Venables to get his recruiting, ahead of steam with recruiting. We talk about that mainly on this channel, and in 2023 right now it's looking good, but 2024 is looking like it's going to be a really good class, and 2025 may be just as good as 2024. So all of that really just leads to pushing off the SEC transition to that 2025 season. And it's also going to be cool because it sounds like we're going to be able to visit a few more stadiums outside of the norm with UCF and Cincinnati and one other school joining potentially next year. In 2023?
BYU. Oh, yeah. In 2023, you're right. Yeah. So it's pretty good. Brandon, do you have any thoughts before we move on? No. I think it's really good. I mean, you think Texas has their Longhorn network. As much as I think that was a failure, but they made a lot of money off of it. That's what OU's doing. While they have a lot of good boosters with a lot of money in Austin, they also have that TV deal that's helping them out tremendously. So why not capture that over the next, 3 years? And I'd imagine they just restructure it because ESPN, I believe, after this season in 2023, they are taking over like the CBS SEC broadcast as well. So I think they're going to be taking the CBS broadcast. So ESPN is going to be the home for the SEC, obviously with the SEC network. No reason why not to lock in a deal with them and get that partnership rolling.
I wonder if that'll kill the Longhorn network once
teams
transition.
That was one of the deals is there goes my dog. But yeah. And it's going to kill the Longhorn network.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, it needs to go. That was kind of one of the deals that got the Big 12 going down. All right, so we'll move on to actual recruiting and some transfers. We've got a visitor coming in this weekend, and I've been saying it for a while that there's going to be a quarterback that I think is going to come in as whether he's quarterback 2 or going to compete for quarterback 1. Gerry Bohanon. He's going to be on campus this weekend. I would imagine most people that are watching this probably have heard the name or are somewhat familiar. He's 6'3", 221 pounds, from Baylor. He's originally from early Arkansas. He was in 2018. He was a 4-star coming out. Last year, he had 2,200 yards passing, 18 touchdowns, 323 yards rushing, and 9 touchdowns. So he had a total of 27 touchdowns. Going into their 9th game, which was against Kansas State, Bohanon got hurt, missed the last 2 games, and then they ended up putting the freshman Blake Shapen in, and he tore it up. And they basically had an open competition this spring. Dave Aranda announced that he was going to be their starting quarterback. As Brandon said before we started, that's how you should do it. And that's kind of what, Levy has done with Dillon Gabriel. He has 2 years of eligibility left because of the COVID deal. He recently visited Missouri, and he's visiting OU this weekend. Brandon, what do you think about Bohanon coming on campus?
So I think Gerry Bohanon's a pretty damn good player. You just mentioned his stats: 18 touchdowns, 9 on the ground, so 27 total against 7 picks. He had like 63% completion percentage, which is good, obviously. But I feel like Dillon Gabriel is the guy because he knows Jeff Levy so well and he's played under his system. And I think we all expect big things out of Dillon Gabriel. So if you're Gerry Bohanon, it truly doesn't make sense to me. You mentioned he has 2 years of eligibility left. So maybe unless he's thinking Dylan Gabriel has a hell of a year and he goes to the draft and then he starts a gap year in between him and Jackson Arnold or Nick Evers or whoever it might be. But with 2 years of eligibility left, I don't, unless it's going to be a legitimate competition that he thinks he can win and start, for his sake, I don't get it. For the team, I mean, I'd love to have him. I think like I said, I think he's a pretty damn good player, and he would be. I think we'd all feel better with him as QB2 versus Nick Evers, just because Nick Evers is just he's still so young and so raw, and with Bohanon, he's got years of experience and has proved he can produce. But again, just for his sake, if I'm him personally, I don't understand it.
I don't know if I agree about being more comfortable with Gerry as QB2 over Nick. Like, how much of an upgrade over Nick Evers is he really? Gerry only had 1 year of being a good quarterback in college. He wasn't a great quarterback. He was good. He was a good football player. I'm not saying he sucked by any means. I mean, he did beat us, and he was part of a Big 12 championship Baylor team, so they were good, but it was mainly the defense being really, really great and keeping teams on a pretty low scoring average throughout the year. I mean, I agree with you. It doesn't make sense for him to come to Oklahoma. I think there's probably at least 5 other schools where it would make more sense for him to go so he can have an opportunity to start. And Dylan Gabriel also has plenty of years left of eligibility. So, I mean, him having a great year this year, maybe he could go to the draft, but doesn't mean that he will. I mean, I'd be fine with him coming in. I just really don't know how much of an upgrade he'd be over Nick at this point.
See, and that, I think Bro and I are both giving you crazy eyes, and you were saying that because I couldn't disagree more with that take. I mean, I got to shoot you straight, but because like you mentioned, how much better of an upgrade is he? Like, what has he done? I mean, yeah, you're right. He's had one good season, but 63% completion percentage is really good. That's very efficient against 27 touchdowns against 7 turnovers. I mean, it's
only had one season.
I agree, but Nick Evers hasn't played any seasons, and I don't believe as a freshman that Nick Evers can put up those kind of numbers. I think he's going to have some growing pains, some struggles. Whereas if Dylan Gabriel goes down and Gerry Bohanon comes off the bench, he's not going to have to shake off those nerves quite as much. Or he's been there, he's done that type deal.
I would like him because then he could feed some information on the Baylor defense, because Doranda is a great coach.
I do agree with that one.
Yeah, I mean, this was his first year to start, so that's one reason.
He's been in college for 4 years.
Well, yeah, but then he also he signed with Matt Rule after they went 1-11. And then, I mean, he joined at the bottom of the bottom. And I mean, I don't know. I feel like he's really good. I mean,
really good.
I don't know.
Stretch boys. He couldn't beat Charlie Brewer, and Charlie Brewer's transferred like twice.
He scored like 26 touchdowns or something last year.
9 on the ground, right? So that's 27 total. He had 18.
Yeah, 27 total touchdowns. He missed 2 games, and he played basically hurt in the Sugar Bowl. I feel like he would be a tremendous upgrade over Nick Evers. Tremendous.
Wow. He's had one good season. That man's as old. He's almost our age.
Here's the deal. As much as I
be in grad school.
Here's the deal. Nick Evers is a good quarterback. Did you watch him play in high school?
Yeah, he's got some inaccuracy issues.
He throws a lot of picks.
Hey, so did Brett Favre, bud. Brett Favre is
2,200 yards. That's not great.
27 touchdowns, pretty efficient.
Yeah,
Tom. If we put the Tom Brady offense for Nick Evers, just fucking dump it off and let the guys make the run, he can have a 70% completion percentage.
Okay. So Brandon and I will wholeheartedly disagree. But here's the case why he would come to Oklahoma.
There is no case.
There is a case because where else is he going to go?
Missouri.
Start
there.
Yeah, you go start at Missouri.
Though.
Huh?
Who's the quarterback at Missouri?
I have no idea.
Exactly.
but the supporting
No
cast
one
is
knows. Missouri fans don't even know who their quarterback is.
the starting cast is not good at Missouri at all. Or the starting cast, the supporting cast is not good. I mean, yeah, they got Luther Burden, but he could come in. He could compete for the starting position, and they could run a little bit of a 2 quarterback offense. They could bring him in for short yardage goal line.
That's the worst way to play quarterbacks. I hate that philosophy, that system. It throws off the mojo of the guy who starts the game, who's trying to get the rhythm going.
Your Dolphins would bring in Jacoby Brissett to do quarterback sneaks and various other things. Bohanon could do that.
No, literally quarterback sneaks. That was the only reason Jacoby Brissett ever came onto the field.
But here's the deal:
the worst quarterback I've ever seen play I've ever watched in my life. That was hard to watch.
If Dylan Gabriel plays really well this year, he will go to the draft. I don't think he's going to hang around.
I mentioned that that's the only thing that makes sense, and that's what he can be banking on. But that's a lot to bank on. And where I disagree with Hose that I think right now Gerry Bohanon is greater than Nick Evers. I'm not so sure that Gerry Bohanon is going to be better than Jackson Arnold. I'm very high on Jackson Arnold. So even if Dylan Gabriel enters the draft, does he beat out Jackson Arnold, boys? I'm not sure he does. Jackson Arnold's going to get that 5th start. He's going to light these teams up. I'm not so sure, not so fast as the league.
Yeah, I mean, Jackson Arnold's extremely good. He's very, very good. I feel like that OU wants a second quarterback, and Gerry Bohanon might look at it and be like, well, 1, Gabriel could get hurt. 2, I could end up starting over Dylan Gabriel in a scenario.
That's another thing. I don't see that happening. The level of trust and familiarity with Dylan Gabriel, I think it's too much. It's too much. Unless he's banking on Dylan Gabriel being league bound after 1 year of lighting it up, it makes no sense to me for him. But like I said, I think I would like to have him. I would personally feel better with him as QB too.
I bet Gabriel lights it up and goes to the draft.
I don't know how you guys are comfortable with saying that Gerry is a good option.
He really is a good
freshman at Baylor.
I mean, yeah.
Freshmen do that sometimes.
Nick Evers, he's not an upgrade over Nick Evers.
Bryce Young was a freshman last year.
I get that. He's a redshirt freshman.
Okay, whatever.
But
that kid who played, I can't think of his name, Shippen or Shitten or whatever his name is.
Shapen.
He actually played pretty well against that Oklahoma State defense in the Big 12 game. He started off his first, 17 or 17 or 18 of 18 or something?
I just think Nick Evers, specifically talking about Oklahoma, Nick Evers, after this, he's had this semester, he'll have summer ball. He'll be a fine backup quarterback.
Legitimately can sit there and say that you, as an Oklahoma fan, would feel just as comfortable / potentially more comfortable with Nick Evers as QB2 over a guy who's been there, done that, shown he can.
One time.
It doesn't
like
all the
more.
Like all the NFL
That's one more. That's one more than Nick Evers can say.
That's like all the NFL GM saying Dwayne Haskins is the next coming of Brett Favre. He played one good season in college, and then he became a first-round pick. Unfortunately, RIP that guy. But quarterback-wise in football, Gerry is not better than Nick Evers.
Yes, he is. At this point in their lives, in their careers, yes, he is.
That's just foolish.
110%. Gerry,
like you said,
Bohanon is better.
26 or something. He's our age. Yeah. Nick Evers is 17, 18.
He's
either way. The 23 versus 18 thing. If I was 18 years old and I got thrust into a position to be the starting quarterback at Oklahoma, I mean, I might be able to handle it because I'm just that guy. But not a lot of, there's going to be some nerves, there's going to be there's some jitters there. Like you guys saw me play at the Cottages Backyard Bowl. No matter the situation, I was calm, cool, collected.
Oh yeah, it's very similar, very similar. So I don't know. I think Gerry Bohanon, another landing spot could be UCF.
That makes more sense too. Central Florida, Missouri, it all makes more sense. If you're him.
I don't know. There might be something more to it. You never know. Or maybe the development that he'll get. Well, I guess we'll see. I don't know. Something to watch. Let's move on to the next topic. That's a hot take, Jose. I think that's
hot.
I'm excited to see the comments on this one.
Yeah.
You're gonna say Jose is right because
it
had one good year.
I don't know if you watched the spring game, but there was a significant drop off when Gabriel came off the field. So I don't
Give
know.
me Nick Evers over Gerry Bohanon.
So, all right.
Give me Micah Bowens over Gerry Bohanon. No offense, Micah.
Merch. Our first merchandise whenever we drop it, it's going to be Nick Evers greater than Gerry Bohanon.
Give me anyone over Gerry.
No. All right.
I don't understand the Gerry Bohanon hate, but whatever.
So the last guy we're going to talk about is another transfer kid, LV Bunkley-Shelton. It's quite the name. 5'11" wide receiver from Arizona State. He came in 2020 as a 4-star, number 158 overall, and number 27 wide receiver. Last year, he had 33 catches, 418 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He's transferring as a redshirt sophomore. So, I mean, he's got years left. And granted, I don't know how the COVID year is going to happen for him or whatever. I guess he wouldn't because he came in the 2020 season or 2020 class. So redshirt sophomore. I'd imagine he entered in the transfer portal because of Jaden Daniels leaving and going to LSU. I don't know a whole lot, but from what I gathered, he's a natural slot receiver, great route runner, great hands, very shifty. Basically has the same build and body type like a Cody Jackson, except he actually played a decent amount last year and has some experience. Cody Jackson, unfortunately, didn't play last year because I believe he got sick or had some sort of medical issue. So he brings in some experience, a lot of years of eligibility left. I hope OU lands him. Jose, what do you think?
Yeah, this one I agree on. He would be a good addition to have. We whenever we talked about the wide receiver room last time, it's pretty thin, especially past this year. It could be very thin after this year. So adding him will be good. Hopefully he has a good visit. I've seen people on Twitter like super, I guess, excited about potentially getting him again because of the lack of depth at that position or in that room. But the good thing about him is that he is experienced. I don't know if he would transfer. I don't know how much time he'd get this year. I think Drake Stoops would end up being the starter at the slot receiver position, or at least be over this guy. But he would, after this year, he would be potentially a big target for Nick Evers next year because it's not going to be Gerry Bohanon.
No, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see about all that later. But no, I think we're all on the same page on this one. LB, the guy that would be a lot of fun to get. He was a 4-star in his class. A guy that Oklahoma offered originally. Obviously, it didn't work out first. But he held offers from Oklahoma, Texas, Oregon, Ohio State. He had some pretty good offers. Put up 400 yards last year, a couple touchdowns. So he's a guy that, he absolutely makes a lot of sense for this team. He's a guy I definitely hope we get his commitment over Gerry Bohanon's, just because it's more important for the team, I think. But I wouldn't mind seeing both commit. LB Bunkley-Shelton is a guy we're excited about. And while you were talking, Jose, Jordy Ball got a strikeout to end the game, and the Sooners won the first game of Bedlam. So that's also fun.
Give me Jordy Ball at QB over Gerry Bohanon.
Hottest take of the night.
Yeah. I mean, hey, one game away, clinching the Big 12 regular season. They're going to sweep them anyway. It doesn't matter. So in the season, 48-1? That's probably what's going to be.
Relatively efficient.
Relatively efficient. So that's all we've got. I hope, OU can land both of these kids. Because it'd be great to have a QB2 and another slot receiver.
We have a QB2. We have a QB2, 3, and 4.
So with that, Brandon, I'm going to turn it over.
QB1.
Yeah.
Is that even his name? Is it Ralph Rucker? Do I have it right?
Ralph Rucker is there.
Yeah.
Give me Ralph over Gerry.
Wreck-It Ralph, baby.
No.
That's a cool nickname.
That is a cool
So-
nickname. That's like a TV show or something, or a game.
It's a movie.
Wreck-It Ralph. Yeah, it's a movie. Oh, is that what it is? Yeah.
All right, I got the end of video challenge this week, boys.
Oh, hoses steals
Oh.
it.
Is Gerry Bohanon an upgrade over Nick Evers? Can everyone comment that? Because I'm adamant that he is not. He's not
Well,
even close.
Jose took
Tell us
the end
your
of video
thoughts.
challenge. He just stole it, and there it is. And you're gonna lose this one in a landslide fashion.
I have a feeling there's going to be a decent amount of people that agree.
You're wrong. We should wager something friendly for the next.
The next episode will count if it's whichever side wins. So if more people comment that Gary's an upgrade over Nick, we can just do shotgunning. We can do like what we did when we first started this channel.
Shotgun
Probably no
bets
one
are
watched, but
shotgun bets are always-
shotgunning. I'll do two since I'd be losing to two people, and then if you guys lose, you each have to shotgun one to start the next episode.
Deal. You guys make Jose shotgun because that was just a horrible take.
No, it's not.
You heard it here. You heard it here. So go ahead and comment. Let us know what you think. You made it this far. I mean, if you enjoyed it, I mean, that was probably a pretty rough to listen to. You got to hit the subscribe button. It's free, helps us out. Turn the notification bell. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, find us on Apple and Spotify. Everything's linked below. And we'll catch you next time for next week, Monday.